Welcome back, everyone. Thrilled to be joined by Dr. Natalie for our third installment here, focused on Gen AI in the contact center. Today's conversation is going to be around the human AI collaboration aspect. We've covered a lot of ground in some previous conversations we've had, certainly about how to adopt Gen AI systems within the customer experience journey, really why context is king, and how it can help really change the way that machines interact with humans. But today, really want to focus on that human side of things, which is certainly Dr. Natalie's expertise. But the world of work is going to look very, very different here with the way that Gen AI is able to think and reason and assist callers, customers that may have problems, but also change the way that our human agents interact, the way our businesses think about building customer life cycles. So really want to start with a simple question that's quite hard, but empathy within AI systems. Dr. Natalie, as we're thinking about why now is different, which we've certainly covered, there's that empathy moment, right? Where even at the end of the day, generative AI can talk like a human, but that empathy side where it really can potentially tap into understanding the customer's pain points, but also use the right tone and sentiment. Curious, when we're thinking about empathy and how to treat customers like humans, how would you advise or even start to frame up the question of incorporating empathy within those initial customer touch points?
What was fascinating when Gen AI first got announced, right? There was a whole lot of conversations around eliminating humans, around productivity, around efficiency. And so I started to really think about that. And I thought, well, it could feel really daunting and maybe not like a good thing. I think that if you look at the history of like the last 50 years, the last 25 years, and the last 2 or 3 years, I feel like there's also evolution in how we're approaching Gen AI. And I think that if we really start to, and there's a lot of conversations around this, if Gen AI is just about eliminating the human aspect, that's a pretty daunting dystopian future. And it actually stops people from wanting to engage with this. But if Gen AI was in service to humans, if it was about human flourishing, right? And I think that those of us who think like this will resonate with this, right? And that's where I come from, is that what if technology was in service to us? So if technology could truly be of service to human beings, and I think that that's when I started my career a long, long time ago, that's what I thought I was doing, right? I really thought, okay, this is going to make life better. And it had its limitations. I think we're at a place now where we have technology that can understand us and mimic, right? Not replace, but mimic human interactions. So at this point, I think that it's a new point in time where we can begin to take the idea of the productivity and the efficiency, but twist it, right? And here's where the empathy comes in. So let's say you're a customer. A business wants short interactions, right? They want efficient, they want productive. Guess what? So does the customer, right? Do you want to be interacting? Do you want to sit and interact with a company for a really long time to change your flight or return a product or get your questions answered? Customers want the same productivity, efficiency, all those things. So now when you start to see from the customer's point of view, they want short interactions, they don't want to call back, they want to have a satisfying interaction. So when you start to really look at, okay, the company wants that because it saves them money, right? And the customer wants that because it's a better experience. Now we're actually aligning strategy with experience. So that's a different way to look at this. And because Gen AI can really detect the user's emotions and the sentiment, now we can actually adapt to the tone, to the content, and we can create an experience that feels satisfying to the customer. And when it's satisfying to the customer, it's then you're going to be able to reach your KPIs. When it's not satisfying to the customer, that's when they do the agent transfer, right? That's when they start screaming into the phone. That's when they start posting on social and saying your brand is horrible. So if we really start to reorient that technology is in service to humans, in service to the customer and the employee experience, now we really have something. And that's what's going to make a differentiation in your business.
Yeah, that's a beautiful point, right? What is more human than being in willful service to others? And I recognize that, it's a role. Human agents serve a job purpose, but when you can harness the synergy between AI and humans to really tee up that meaningful conversation, it hits the business objectives, it hits the customer objectives. You still have to capture the form information, you still have to verify and authenticate, but if you can consolidate that so that the conversations are more meaningful between the humans, that's really a beautiful thing, and it serves all parties involved. um, that's kind of this hybrid model, right? That you were framing up, where AI is in service to the business, helping humans on both sides here get what they need. What does that actually look like in deployment? How do businesses think about deploying systems that really offer that empathetic human-like conversation while still teeing up their subject matter experts who know all the nuances of human life and intricacies of conversation to still hold those conversations?
I think there's a couple pieces to this. So if we could actually have our interaction bots based on Gen AI that has this ability to look at emotions and really take in the context, understand what it means when someone says my house is on fire, right? And then be able to deliver an experience that meets their expectations. That in itself would be a miracle, right? And that's what I love about what you guys are doing is you're actually driving towards this outcome. And then I think that there are going to be times, right, depending on the interaction, depending on not necessarily because the chatbot can't answer the question, because we now have this new generation of bots that can answer a very large percentage of the interactions. But sometimes, right, an interaction does need to be transferred to an agent. So if you could take that context, right, that the bot collected, and you could hand that off to the agent, and the agent could kind of see, okay, that's what's going on. I got it. Now the agent is dealing with the things that really take a human, right? That a bot maybe can never do. And that empowers the agent because the agent isn't answering those mundane, right? And one of the things that people ask me is like, well, how do I create an AI strategy? And I say, well, sit down with your agents, like actually listen to their interactions and ask them, what part of your job don't you like? Right. And it's going to be those repetitive questions and the things that, are just like, I've said this 1,000 times. Most agents, I would say 99.999% of the ones that I've interacted with, and those have been hundreds of thousands of agents over the years, they all say now, I get up every morning and I do this job because I really want to help people. Like there's a particular kind of person that is willing to do this job. And so they wake up wanting to be helpful, right? And so if we can help them have a job where some of the routine, mundane things get answered by the bots in a sincere way that satisfies the customer, and then what we give to the agents to handle, they're truly solving problems. They're truly bringing their best expertise, and we're supporting them. We're supporting the agents, these human employees, by giving them the context, right, of what has already happened and we're providing them maybe even with real-time information or documents, right? So that we're and again, this goes back to the conversation we had earlier. What if technology was in service to humans?
Hmm.
Right? This is for me, it's a double goosebump moment, right? It's like, I don't know, John, this seems like it's a no-brainer, right? What if customers got what they needed? What if when you need to talk to an agent, the agent understood your context and then the agent was empowered to take you to the next step and really get that really difficult problem solved? That's nirvana.
It is. It is. It's beautiful. It's simple, and it's to your point, right? What if, in very simple terms, technology was put to work to make things better? And what do both parties want? Efficient, helpful conversations. Putting together that strategy, as you outlined, is brilliant, right? It takes a certain type of person, somebody with that warm heart who wants to provide service, and handling 1,000 standard routine conversations eats at them. It's not fun. It's not a good spot to be in. Starting with understanding the conversations. This isn't some massive, I'll delicately say, but not some massive tool rollout, right? Like, you're not going to adopt this crazy new thing and everyone's got to rethink. It's like, at the end of the day, our goals are aligned here. How does that look like to bring into the world? Um, and I guess, teeing you up here, right? The future is bright. There's so much to be excited about. The double goosebump moment, there's some very cool things that are happening, that make this an exciting world to be in, and a new way for us to kind of think about, how do we bring that human touch through everything we do. So if you were advising companies, those that are watching, listening in, what is the future of customer service from your perspective?
For me, this is probably, and I've been in the industry a long time, I think this is the most exciting time that we've ever been in. I think that we have the opportunity as contact center and customer service professionals to really shape the future of technology, shape the way that our interactions are designed. And I think one of the things that probably hasn't occurred as much is customer service executives telling vendors, here's what I really need from you, right? And being able to say, here's my strategy, this is the experience I really want. And I think for the first time, because of the new technology, we can actually become co pilots or partners and sit down and really talk about, like when we're interfacing with customers, and I hope we get to do this in the future, is that we can sit down and really understand what is it that you want from your business? What is it you want from, the KPIs and the things that you have to report? And then what is it on a day-to-day basis? How do you want to help your agents? How do you want to help your customers? And then based on that, being able to and this, to me, this is really exciting to be able to start to experiment with this technology and to apply it. And once you sit down and you actually start to play with it and design it, the difference that you see is so incredible, and it's so simple. It's actually really fun. And like when you see the outcomes, it to me it's like night and day. But until you take that step and you go, okay, I know I have chatbots. I, spent all this money and time, you know, but let's like put your curiosity hat on and say, let me see how this works, right? And think about, if I was a contact center professional, I would say, I want the future of AI to not be this dystopian, horrible future. I want to give my input. I want to design the experiences. I want to change the future. And I think this is the tipping point where we're at. We have that opportunity to make this an amazing technology that's going to empower our businesses, empower us as professionals, empower everybody, right? But it's us sitting down with the large language models, us programming how we want to interact with them. I mean, if you like when I use the AI, I say please, I say thank you, right? And we're training it. We're training it to be the way that we want to be interacted with. And before, you couldn't do that with any of the rule-based or predictive analytics because it was like, you know, if this, then this, or this equals this. There wasn't even an if then, right? An inference. So to me, we have this opportunity, and I really hope that, our conversation has sparked that curiosity and that people will be willing to jump in, right, with both feet and say, okay, let's go.
Absolutely. I think you beautifully summarized that. And thinking about this is fun. That it's such a turn from what it used to be. There was only two of the letters of fun I would use to describe building uh,
Did you
building
just say that,
conversational
John?
AI of the past. And now you're right, it's fun, right? You say thank you, you say please, because you're training these systems, you're bringing it to life. It's a totally different age. And you're right, put on that critical thinking cap. Last thing I would just love your perspective on here. And it can be short, it can be long, but you said jump in with 2 feet. What would you advise for the groups you're working with, the groups you hope to work with, and everybody watching? How do you get started today?
Well, I would say the most important thing is the company that you keep, right? So figure out who do you want to play, right? There's a big playground out there. Um, I think that we have to choose wisely. We have to choose vendors and companies that see this conversation the way that we're talking about it, right? Where, as a contact center professional, you have a voice, right? And the way that you would like to see experiences designed is the way that that vendor sees it. And I think that once you identify that and you understand that you have an amazing opportunity to learn something new and to become part of this really fascinating and interesting new world, and find true partners, right? I often say the AI is not a toaster, right? It's there's a part of us that wants everything to be a toaster. Well, I just put the toast in, press the button, and it pops out beautifully. It's even, toasted with cinnamon and my favorite jam, which is cherry, by the way. Um, right? And but technology doesn't work that way, right? And so, but what's cool about Gen AI is that there is a bit of work to do, but the work is fun now. And the work is really more in the strategy area. So I would say find a company that thinks like you, that thinks from this empathy point of view, that thinks about um, your career, your your agents' careers, and really has the customer like that like-minded, right? The people that it's like, I don't know, at the end of the day, John, I think we want to do business with people we like and who are like-minded and
Mhm.
want to have fun at all of this. And I think that that's where I would start is I would pick people that I want to hang out with.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and we've certainly hung out for a few of these sessions, and can say I've enjoyed every minute of it, and I'm glad we're aligned. It is an exciting time to be in this space, and certainly to kind of see the world the way we do, where we can experiment and have fun with it, but also the possibilities are so encouraging to be able to roll this out. I know these conversations have been geared around Gen AI for customer service. There's a lot of applications, a lot of different ways this can manifest. But I think you said it right. Find the right partners, find the right people, talk to your people, and bring this to life. So with that, I think we can wrap up. Anything else to share?
I'm just very grateful to be part of the space. I'm grateful that you guys invited me to talk about this because um, I think it's really it is we're really at a tipping point, and I think it's really important that the human aspect of technology and AI become part of how we do business. And so I I don't know. I'm really touched.
Oh, well, we sincerely appreciate your willingness to join us and share your expertise. And I know for everybody watching, they feel it as well. So thank you so much for making the time, Dr. Natalie. And thank you all for tuning in for these series. Certainly had a lot of fun talking about all the cool advancements and how far we've come, and certainly how far we'll go bringing humans and AI together. Encourage you all to certainly dive in feet first, explore Gen AI for your customer service needs. And if you'd like to see more from Observe AI, certainly check out our voice AI agents and how we're actually making our conversations that we've had into a reality and serving customers all over the world to help make empathetic human-like conversations. So with that, we'll wrap up for today. Again, Dr. Natalie, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us. And I hope we cross paths here again soon. I'm sure we will. We've got a lot to cover and the world's moving pretty fast. And thank you again for all of you that have tuned in. This has been a wonderful series. So thank you all, and we'll see you out there soon.